Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the hour number 2 of Sports with Sparky. Again, I want to appreciate everyone coming in here today. If in case you follow me on social media, you knew, but if you didn't for some odd reason, which blows my mind, I got two special dudes with me here today to talk some football. Mega love talking with these boys. I got Benicio DeFalco, Logan Lepiscopo, two gentlemen I highly admire. Both actually do have a radio show. I'll let you both plug those real quick because you did come out.
You admire us.
I highly admire you guys.
You want to plug yourself first?
7 a.m. Wednesday, listen to Deanie and I
Deanie,
everything.
Deanie, unfortunately, something came up. He was not able to come out tonight. But no, Logan, go ahead.
Third year running, the booth review, everything, anything NFL. I'm your guy, especially during the off season. But yeah. I roasted Sparky last week, so we'll see what happens.
Well, if you were listening, you'll understand, and we're definitely going to get into it again. It's a heated debate. It was getting into... you and I were really getting into it on that kind of topic. But we'll get there. We will get there, I promise. Everyone will have their turn to take a jab at Sparky. But nonetheless, first, just real quick, doesn't have to be too deep. I do want to talk about the Pro Bowl. Haven't had a chance to talk about it too much. I want to get your guys' opinions on how you thought it went overall. I mean, especially because we expected it to be a dumpster fire.
For starters, I mean, I would say the flag football wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I wasn't a fan of the games in between. I feel like they should just keep that completely separate day. I know they had their separate games on that day, but I wasn't a fan of it just going all over the place.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch. So they did how long did they do? Like a quarter or like 2 quarters? Then they take a break or?
Yeah,
they did they did 3 separate flag football games. So it's like a best of 3, I guess.
What?
That they were going for. So you play 2 quarters each game, and each conference gets points for winning specific challenges and stuff.
I was wondering why it was 35-33. I was like, how is it that high scoring?
Yeah.
No, that's so Logan. Overall, I'm gonna take it. You kind of agree with Benny on that one.
Yeah, I mean the games were cool and all, the dodgeball and stuff that we've had before. Obviously we've seen that, so it's cool. But the longest drive for golf was kind of Why am I watching football players golf right now?
Yeah, what are we It's funny because you see the jokes about it when teams are off in the off season. They're like, "Oh, go golf" or Cancun on 3. But no, why don't we have a Cancun challenge? What's up with that? Why don't we have what's up with that? But
honestly, Josh Jacobs was right though. Yeah, the NFL should just send all the people who get selected for Pro Bowls on a vacation or something.
And that's what I was saying. I think last week I made a mention of this. I was kind of monologuing, but something I said that I, believe it or not, still stick with. I feel like Pro Bowl votes should count as you've been selected to a Pro Bowl, but they shouldn't be doing a Pro Bowl if this is what they're doing with it. Is it agree, disagree?
Yeah, I can get behind that. There's with football, there's so much contact, it's nearly impossible to do an all-star game and get players to do 100%, get them to do 100%, to go 100%.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, we talked on my show this past Monday that
excellent show.
That the Pro Bowl is just it's pointless. Truthfully, the votes are just who's the most popular players, who has the biggest fan base.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much what it is.
I don't know. First of all, I think that's 100% correct, but it interests me how the heck Tyler Huntley got in. I was getting into a debate with a fellow Waynesburg student. I'm not going to expose them.
Ryan Martin.
Okay, we're going to.
He made a name for himself in the Pro Bowl, though.
Drop it,
You should have saw him in that Pro Bowl. He's throwing dogs.
Ryan Martin. We before the Pro Bowl, we were getting into it about why he said Tyler Huntley fully deserved to be voted into the Pro Bowl. He is, in case for some reason you didn't collect context clues, he is a Ravens fan. Said Tyler Huntley truly believed to be in the Pro Bowl. He felt he deserved it. Then we started getting into it, how I thought there were at least 5-6 guys in front of Tyler Huntley where he was. But that's neither here nor there. Benny, because I want to make mention to you. We did talk about should Pro Bowls count or be considered as a factor towards Hall of Fame voting. We talked about. I want to know what you get on that as well.
I don't think so at all. I mean, there's what All Pro. Mm-hmm. The All Pro selections, I feel like, does that enough. I mean, the Pro Bowl,
also second teams,
it's pretty much all fan voting.
Yeah, you get second team You get second team votes too. So it's not like it's impossible to get an All Pro. You can also be number 2 on something or anyway like that. So I mean, there's openness for that and allowance of it. So not a bad idea, but Pro Bowl has definitely become more of a popularity contest. The games have been funny. I think funny is a better word to say than like productive or exciting. So, I mean, nothing too crazy about it. I truly believe that it's going in the wrong direction, though. Pro Bowl's not going the direction it wants to be. It's been losing views, and that was before the flag football announcement came out, too.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think the Pro is really anything special. I mean, obviously before when they could actually hit each other, and it wasn't a thing of like incentive based where now players are getting paid depending. Well, players got paid this year in general, win or loss of the competition. AFC players got I think like 42,000, and then
They get extra.
The team that I think the NFC won.
They did.
So they got 84 grand.
Yeah, that makes sense. You pay them double.
Which is like pocket change. So a lot of the guys playing in this game.
Yeah, facts. It's like give them a $5 bill. It's like whatever.
Yeah, so
Please.
it's lost a lot of its, I guess you could say, like praise for like the players that get selected. I mean, everyone knows the infamous Sean Taylor clip.
I was just gonna. That's
like that's when the Pro Bowl is at its peak.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because Sean Taylor was that kind of guy, and unfortunately, he was taken away from us way too early too.
How much were the incentives you said they made?
I think it was 42 and 84. So NFC players got 84 grand.
What did Eli Manning get? He had to get paid the two, right?
I mean, maybe I don't know.
Eli, I mean, I guess
he's rolling in cash now, especially with their
100%. No, those two are become basically the secondary face of the NFL.
I was trying to think of a way, like, if you were to add incentives to the game, like the actual game itself, where, like, if a player were to get so many tackles, they get a bonus. But like you said, it's already pocket change to these guys.
Yeah.
It would be hard to come up with a number.
It makes me laugh because when in the All-Star game for NHL, when they play, all the money they win goes to charity of their choice. With the NFL, it's pocketed. So do you think maybe that of some sorts may up a level of things or make it better anyway if there was a charity aspect to it?
I think a lot of guys, considering it's like kind of pocket change to them, they probably end up donating it.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think if the NFL were to try and resurrect the Pro Bowl, obviously I think the views were kind of decent this year just because everybody wanted to see.
New.
Yeah, it's new. People want to see what it was, but I think they have to go back to like either a full contact thing or just some other way to make it actually exciting for fans to watch.
No, I don't know. I mean, because fun fact, plead your case. Make sure to pay attention to that on WCTV.
Best show out.
Best show. It literally is. Because last semester we had a topic about it when they originally announced the flag football idea and aspect of it, and it was, to me, it's exciting because it's a new kind of thing you could try. But as time went on, I just thought about it because we had played our own flag football game, and we also played a tackle football game. And to me, tackle football is way more fun than flag football. But I mean, hitting dudes is a lot more fun than just watching dudes rip flags. But there were still a lot of iconic moments and a lot of special moments. And speaking of special moments, that's a perfect way to transition into the NFL Honors. The NFL Honors Award ceremony happens usually anywhere between a day to 3 days before the Super Bowl. It's always held in February. And it's the NFL award show. It's most valuable player. Obviously, we had offensive and defensive player of the year, offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year, coach of the year, and then we also had some minor awards like moment of the year, angriest run of the year, NFL fan of the year. And so we did, of course, the Booth Review did have an official guess on some of those picks. You did go 5 for 7. Very impressive. Very impressive. I think, to me, the most surprising, take it how you will, the most surprising winner to me is Garrett Wilson.
I strongly disagree.
But let me explain. Garrett Wilson won. I fully believe he deserves to be in talks to win it. 100%, not a question. Beyond talented.
Who's closer?
Kenneth Walker.
No.
Kenneth Walker.
Fun
fact. Kenneth Walker had more votes than Garrett Wilson. However, I forget how it works, but this was posted by CBS Sports, so I know it's legit. There was something about how the voting. I always forget how the voting goes or how the system works. That technically Garrett Wilson won, but more votes were given to Kenneth Walker.
So the way it vote, I think it's like 3 levels. So like the people voting, the AP voters, they do like their first place, second place, third place. So obviously like the first place votes way more, but it could have been a situation where like Walker and Wilson were like neck and neck with first place votes, but then when it came to second and third place, there might have been like a bigger gap there.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I think that's you're probably right. That's where it lands. I mean, I know we were excited. Me and you were watching together, Benny. I knew you were excited. Granted, he did come from Ohio State, a college you highly admire. But I mean, you can go ahead and talk about it.
I mean, I love that pick. That's who I predicted was going to get it. I mean, he was consistent throughout the whole season, started the whole season. That's the only reason why I think a guy like Kenneth Walker and Brock Purdy didn't win it is just because they weren't there the whole season. I'm kind of surprised. It did throw me off, though, that Purdy was third. No disrespect to Kenneth Walker, just the way the league is ran. It's a quarterback's league. I thought Purdy, they would have gave Purdy more respect.
That's a very fair take.
I'd have been mad if Purdy won, truthfully.
No, I would have too.
I just thought the way
the award is like it's a quarterback award. Let's be real.
Well, that's how, and that's basically MVP. What is it? A quarterback award.
MVP,
Rookie of the year.
Yeah, like
it was. I think, to me, because I kind of started thinking about it. People were comparing Kenny and Brock Purdy to when Kenny had been playing 11 games. Brock hadn't started yet, so. When Kenny gets to week 13, he's been playing for 8 weeks. Brock played once, and then people are considering him for Offensive Rookie of the Year. To me, I'm like, back up. Let's stop comparing these two. Granted, I feel like Kenny played almost double the games Brock did. Granted, Brock got a few more games back from that because he was in the playoffs and Kenny wasn't. But to me, technically, it is a full season thing, or who had a wholer season. So Kenneth and Garrett in that aspect were more legit. Again, like Benny said, doesn't take away from what Brock did. He did was really, really good.
Oh, absolutely.
He set himself apart really well.
It's also the system that Brock was in.
Yeah.
Like, I think you could truthfully put any quarterback in that Niners system, and you'll be successful.
I mean, yeah, they do with Trey Lance. To me, Trey Lance, I think, is overrated and overhyped.
I hope Purdy's their guy.
Me too.
Purdy's their
I
guy.
think
it's his job to lose.
Yeah.
I think
sure.
I think he cemented himself as the definite starter now.
My only thing is like, the other thing with Purdy and his success is how good that Niners defense was under DeMeco Ryan. Like, insanely good.
It's really good under Robert Saleh, too.
Yeah, like, whether it's the talent there, the coaches the Niners continue to bring in, that defense does a ton. I believe during Purdy's time there, they were allowing less than, like, 16 points a game to opponents.
Yeah.
Or around that range. I know it was under 20 for sure.
Yeah.
But the 49ers system, I think, is just so hard to fail in. Especially with all the weapons as well on that offense.
Yeah, no, it's because you got Debo, who is excellent with speed, and once he gets the ball in his hands, yards after the catch or run. I think George Kittle is cemented himself as the number 2 tight end in recent era. I think Brandon Ayuk, if he continues,
underrated.
Is severely underrated. Granted, I think last year was underrated was fair because he kind of had a lackluster moment, but I think he's put himself there. Juwan Jennings too. I think he's underrated.
He's alright, I guess.
I mean, alright. I mean, yeah.
He's a guy that'll come in, get you like a 75-yard touchdown, and then not play the rest of the game.
I think also you sometimes got to think quality over quantity, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to think, alright, yeah, he had maybe this running back. I'll use Isaiah Pacheco's number. He had 10 for 17 against the Bengals, but two or three of those runs were chunk yards and first downs that they needed to keep the drive moving. So. The stat line's not great by no stance in the imagination, but, like, you gotta think, like, all right, at least he's producing important moments, which I think's overlooked. So, Garrett Wilson, that was the first thing I wanted to get. Another award that I feel like was very much a toss-up was Coach of the Year.
Yeah. What was it? Eight coaches got first place votes or something like that?
They did. There were 5 that came out as finalists, and then last night they announced there were only 3 that they came down to, which was Kyle Shanahan, Brian Dable, and Doug Peterson. Now, I knew you had Doug. Who'd you have?
I had Brian Dable.
Brian Dable. I also had Brian Dable. So, Logan, run us through why you had Peterson over Dable.
Well, my first instinctive thought was Sirianni, just because like how the Eagles were able to do what they did this year, but also you have to look at how much talent that team has in general.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
obviously he should have been in the running. Teams in the Super Bowl. You got to give him that. Shanahan, I think, honestly, I know this might sound far-fetched as well, but I think Shanahan should have been above Dable. Going through 3 different quarterbacks and still getting your team that far into the postseason. Obviously, you got curb stomped by the Eagles, but like you're down to your 4-string QB. He gets hurt. I mean, CMC.
Yeah, all right. When you explained it, when you first said it, I was like, that minion. What? like, what are we talking about here? But when you speak.
You have to give credit to Dable, absolutely. The Giants have been atrocious the past few years. They get into the playoffs for the first time since Eli and Odell were New York Giants.
Back in Lambeau when they played in Lambeau.
And Daniel Jones has been having a terrible year, or a terrible career, I should say. Has a pretty decent year. You could even say a good year this year, considering Saquon bounces back big. Your wide receivers still suck, but the defense stepped up big as well. My only reason I picked Doug over Dable was just because I think that how much the team grew from being back-to-back number one picks to now
two
in the
wins,
postseason.
Yeah, 2 wins to a wild card, or a divisional appearance, because they did beat the Chargers in the wild card.
And I just don't think Doug gets enough credit for what he does with quarterbacks. We saw when he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, was Carson Wentz had an MVP caliber year, gets hurt, Foles comes in, wins them the Super Bowl. This year you transform Trevor Lawrence from what everybody was already ready to write off as a bust, which I thought was ridiculous. And he bounces back this year, overcomes, 27-point deficit in the playoffs. Yeah. Terrible first half, comes back with 4 touchdowns in the second half. But
he had 3 touchdowns second half. He went one touchdown, 3 picks in the first half. He threw the 3 picks first. Then he turned it around, had 3 touchdowns, no picks. And it was funny because he kept throwing to Quay Jones, and I'm like, what are we doing? He's not open. Quit throwing to the same corner. He's intercepted you 3 times. And nonetheless,
Trevor Samuel Jr.
Literally.
Just like his dad.
And it's funny because Trevor Lawrence last year went in the regular season 12 touchdowns, 17 picks. 2-win season. Let's do it again. Run it back. This time you get Walker as your number 1 overall pick, and this time they're in a better position.
ETN was back too.
ETN was back too. He had an ACL injury. With James Robinson, I think, I'm a huge James Robinson fan still, but I feel like ETN is definitely a better fit, especially because he's played with Lawrence where he is too. So, yeah, no, that's fair. I had Dable because I think the lackluster amount of talent on that roster, especially offensively, is the reason he deserved to be there. All of them, all the coaches deserve to be there. I think Shanahan should have won because he can't win the big games he needs to win. He hasn't done that.
I don't think he could have went wrong this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I would say Peter.
This was an award.
Yeah, I would have
give it to any of these guys.
I would have been more happy with it being Peterson or Dable, which, in case you missed it, it was Brian Dable. So, I'm happy with, and I thought his speech was really good too. So speaking of, we're going to kind of hit on defensive rookie of the year. Both rookie offense and defensive awards of the year went to a New York Jets player. It didn't hit me until after the awards ceremony, but Sauce Gardner-Johnson did win defensive rookie of the year. He was up with Aiden Hutchinson and Tariq Woolen. And nothing against Tariq Woolen, but I just think the amount of impact that Hutchinson and Sauce Gardner had on their first year just kind of outshadowed Woolen. Mm-hmm. Woolen's exceptionally tall. He's exceptionally gifted.
I almost feel bad for Woolen because I feel like Sauce is a great corner, but all the attention's on Sauce, and Woolen is a great corner, and I feel like he doesn't get as much love just because he's the same draft class as Sauce and all that.
Yeah, and it's the team he plays on.
Yeah.
Yeah, before coming into that draft with Tariq Woolen, when I first started kind of using social media more for my radio show, I did a collaborative post with somebody, and I put Tariq Woolen as my favorite corner, my underrated corner coming into the draft, and he proved it. I mean, you don't really look at corners from a college like UTSA. You're not oh, this guy's going to be spectacular. At Cincinnati, I mean, same thing. You don't really see a lot of top guys come out of Cincy, but I think Sauce clear cut should have won this.
Yes.
I fully agree. Aiden Hutchinson, on top of that, they all seem like great personalities too outside the field. I mean, including Tariq in that understanding, because between Aiden Hutchinson, of course, the story, him being the number 2 pick this year, that puts him there. Sauce with his success in being a lockdown corner, but the only wide receiver he struggled against was Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even consider that a struggle.
And for Tariq, he, especially with that Thursday night game against the 49ers, that's where he really stepped up into his own light. So, all the credit in the world to these athletes, too, and players. So, I think you could have... I think Sauce definitely deserved it the most, but credit to all rookies as well. Now, MVP. We'll talk, because I'll just summarize the other mini categories because they don't really matter technically. No offense to anyone who won them. But MVP, you had Jefferson, who won, by the way, 2 awards last night. He had best
Offensive Player of the Year and was it Moment
of the Year. He won
That
Moment of the
catch
Year
was
against
insane.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Can we all agree we were screaming when this happened?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I didn't think he actually
Yeah.
like managed to do it. I mean, the DB's got two hands on the ball, and you're able to just rip it away.
Especially when
Doesn't
you're.
get better than
I mean,
that.
people who aren't visually here can't see it, but if you know what the Odell catch is, it's somewhat similar to that position. Your arm is back here, and your muscles force is not away from your body, so you got to give a lot of strength, especially falling down backwards.
Keep in mind the corner had the ball in
Yeah.
his hands as
Yeah,
well.
Was
yeah.
Pickens catching the running at all?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
wasn't.
It was the Raiders, Patriots. that
It
played.
it was Chandler Jones's. Logan, of course, again is a Raiders fan. If for some reason you don't know,
Raiders.
Chandler Jones interception off Jacoby Myers, Justin Jefferson, his catch. I don't know why Naeem Hines' return after Damar's injury wasn't on there.
Yeah, I didn't know because I'll be honest, I didn't even watch the awards. I kind of just watched them come across my
Yeah.
phone as who
Yeah,
won.
no, that's fair.
They showed up on your phone before
Yeah.
almost, nearly 30 minutes before the show's even on.
I get a notification and
Yeah.
my friends would be in the group chat like 10, 15 minutes later, be like, oh my god, somebody won this award. I'm like, I found
It
that
just
out
ruins the
like 10 minutes
experience.
ago.
Yeah, it just ruins the experience for me.
No, it really does. That's why you kind of have to turn off your phone, or
Mhm.
believe it or not, we'll go ahead and look at it, which is crazy to me because I mean I am fully addicted. But
Same.
so back to what we were talking about, Justin Jefferson. He did win 2 awards last night for Moment of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year, but he was also up for MVP. Him, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow, our boy down in Cincy. I picked Pat
Patty
Mahomes to
Mahomes.
win
I
it.
picked Patty
Patty.
too.
I mean, everyone and their mother picked Patrick Mahomes. He did win, in case you were curious.
I think if Jalen Hurts doesn't get hurt, he wins the award. I think if he doesn't
I
miss
can
those
agree
2
with that.
games,
Yeah, I
he
agree with
wins.
that.
But also, you could see you see people giving the counter argument as well. Jalen Hurts missing those 2 games and the Eagles
Yeah.
losing, showed that's what makes him the MVP.
Mhm.
That's what makes him the most valuable player. But
That's a very fair counterpoint. You never really think.
when Mahomes leads the league in QBR, passing yards, passing touchdowns, and everybody
Least-
thought the team was going to suck without Tyreek Hill,
Including myself, I'll fully
I had the Chiefs finishing 8-9 and missing the playoffs.
admit. Ooh,
Yeah.
I wasn't that bad, but I mean,
When you edit this, we're recording, by the way, for anybody listening. This video, just Photoshop like a clown face right here on me for putting the Chiefs outside the playoffs and below 500.
I'm gonna send that to Whitney too. I'll make sure she gets that photo separately because
the clown
she
edit.
deserves that photo.
I would say this was the easiest award for me, though.
MVP?
I think, yeah, I think
MVP?
this was
Yeah, I think Defensive Rookie of the Year was easiest for me.
you would say.
I think
Well,
MVP. Well, I think MVP was the most expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you
as much
you
as I would
realistically-
like for Justin Jefferson to get it, I know he's not going to get it because
100%.
it's not a.
Did you see his?
We
We
saw-
liked. If you
yeah.
made a comment, him and Jamar Chase with their little handshake.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I love that
That was
handshake.
clean.
If you forget for a minute because they don't play together anymore, but they played at LSU for those years, so it was entertaining to watch. And I thought every bit of I really enjoyed it. I thought the DeMar Hamlin when he kind of came out, that was
That was
exciting.
a great moment.
I heard about that.
It made
was
me.
great.
I was laughing, and Benny can attest to this. When he first comes out, the people who announced him, I thought was that lady was annoying me.
She said 3 a little too
She goes
many times.
3. I was
I
like,
might have turned my TV
I was like, lady, please. And then DeMar literally had enough, so he came out early. And he came out, walks in front, and the first responders from the Bengals and for the Bengals and the Bills were on stage there, waiting. They got their fair alone moment, round of applause. So DeMar comes out on the stage and he cuts in front of them. And originally he just kind of just gives a nod, and I'm like, they saved your life. I was like, DeMar, my God, what are we doing? And but then after her speech, she did do the proper walkthrough, high five, hands, hugs, and stuff. And it kind of made me laugh. I was like, what? That's it? But then the more went on, it made more sense. But that was an awesome moment. Kind of like when Ryan Shazier came out. I mean, because I think the closest thing you can consider to this serious of an injury was
Right,
when Ryan Shazier got paralyzed.
Absolutely.
Both in Cincinnati. No shade. But so
I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
AB's hit Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Shazier's hit Cincinnati. DeMar
Something
Hamlin
on
in
that
Cincinnati.
field.
There's another one I'm missing, but it was a lot of stuff's been happening in Cincinnati.
Something about that.
It's bad luck. It's just bad luck. But anyway, back to the point of what we're talking about. So I thought that moment. I think that was my favorite moment. Personally, did you guys have other favorite moment? I mean, I understand Logan might not have a favorite moment. Did you, from what you've seen or maybe heard a day after, did you hear anything that you liked?
No, I think the DeMar moment probably is. I don't even think there should be an argument for like from the actual award setting that was the best moment from the awards. Is DeMar going out there and
Yeah.
giving his speech and be able to thank all the people out there that were able to save his life. But
Yeah, no, but how about you, Betty?
I mean, obviously, I would say DeMar was probably the best, but some of the moments I enjoyed, like we said, the handshake, and then I like Sauce's speech talking about where he was from and how hard it was.
He gave credit. Yeah, you got to give credit. You remember where you're from. I think that's a motto. Believe it or not, I like to stick through. Don't ever forget where you're from, no matter where we go from where we are right now. I think that's very important. Just real quick, the other awards, they renamed for the rushing leader, they hand out an award now. They renamed it the Jim Brown Award last night.
Well-deserved.
They announced that they're changing it. Jim Brown was in attendance last night. He doesn't look that bad for as old as he is. One of the greatest players to ever play the game of football in the world. So he was there. They renamed that award to the leading rusher, Josh Jacobs. Yes, Josh was there. Kittle, I'll admit, Kittle, Kirk Cousins, and Cam Jordan singing, hilarious. Kelly Clarkson really went well with them. Her outfit, I wasn't a fan of.
She needs to work on that.
Did you see what she was wearing?
no, I haven't.
It's a CeeDee Lamb top jersey, but the bottom is a dress, and it has the Cowboys' names on their patches that go on the back of jerseys.
And this was a big dress, too.
This was a puffy dress. This is prom puffy dress.
Yeah.
Look it up.
What is she doing?
Look it up.
I'll
So
I'll
CD.
Why
Well, hold on, wait. Whitney got you because we are recording in front of a live audience today.
What is that?
So this is her and Kirk singing were hilarious.
So it's like their name.
Kirko also had the chains on.
Kirko, yeah, he did.
He
did have the chains. He came out and they sang about Brady retiring. And you look up. Well, we're going to take a break here in a minute, but I want you to look up the video of her and Kirk singing because I think them singing was hilarious. But angriest run of the year they gave to Dameon Pierce when he was in Jacksonville. The nominees for that were Dameon, Najee in Atlanta with that stiff arm.
Ooh.
And honestly, I would have understood if Najee won. Not that I'm playing bias at all. And there was another run they gave. I forget who else a nominee. That's that fan of the year went to a Seattle fan. I forget his name. And he announced Geno Smith being comeback player of the year, of which I forgot to make mention to. Real quick, do you guys have anything on that?
I think he was the most deserving of it, considering that I feel like he didn't come back from an injury, but he came back from the most.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say you look at the award and like the history of it. It's a guy gets hurt, comes back, has an insane season, or not even insane season, but like has a very good year. So I predicted McCaffrey just for off the premises of what the award had been.
Technically, yeah.
Geno fully deserves it.
Geno, I mean, all of them deserved it.
They wrote him off.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But he ain't right back.
Let's not
That's
forget,
the coolest quote ever.
Let's not forget also, some Seattle fans were mad when Geno Smith was even starting.
Oh,
they wanted
yeah.
to go to Drew Lock early because he was
I
just
did
the younger
too.
quarterback.
I did too. And
My prediction before the season started was Geno would start week 1. He started week 1. He did not.
it made me laugh because our fantasy football league we're in was Geno Smith sucks. Was the name of and we were never been
He
more
must have
wrong.
seen that.
No, he saw us. He goes, I ain't riding back. So and of course probably the most important winner, Dak Prescott won Walter Payton Man of the Year. The video giving back between his brother and his suicide, his mom dying of cancer. I mean that obviously, of course, very sad, very serious. But the way he turns it around and is able to use it to motivate him is awesome. I loved it. I did watch that. That was the last thing, obviously, they do before they go off. And then the Hall of Fame class was announced.
Shout out Darrell Revis and Joe Thomas.
Darrell Revis and Joe Thomas.
First year eligible.
And they go in, and Darrell, of course, from Pittsburgh, went to Aliquippa, went to Pitt, played for the Jets majority of his career.
Most all time now, Aliquippa.
Yep.
Three players, most all time.
That's awesome. And Joe Thomas as well. Everyone, I think every year, the final, especially when you get down to the nitty-gritty and finalists, everyone deserves to be in there. So, obviously, it's awesome to see.
Okay, so I didn't watch or see. Did Devin Hester get in?
No. Devin Hester did not get in. Logan is leaving. He has left. No, unfortunately.
How does
they give
No, hold on. Let me rant real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
How do we not let
mute us real quick.
How do we not let the greatest punt returner in NFL history get into the Hall of Fame? He wasn't first ballot last year. He misses again. Like what are we doing?
I muted us.
Who are we letting into this Hall of Fame when you have the greatest punt returner in the history of the game. Yeah, give me a one shot right here.
I'll give you a
Look,
close up.
And this could be biased also because there was an instance where before I even started my radio show, I had my podcast and it was the Lepisca Post show. A little bit throwback there.
That's hard.
But he liked one of my posts before, so like
Devin Hester.
Yeah, so that was pretty tough. But like, NFL, why is Devin Hester not a Hall of Famer? Explain it to me.
That's a fair point. I think that's fair. Again, everyone who deserves it in it. There are a couple of guys I feel like got snubbed. But real quick, the last question I want to have to you before we go on, and we kind of talked about it.
Comment.
I got one to add for you, Spose.
Okay, well I'm going to ask you real quick. Tom Brady, undisputed first ballot Hall of Famer in 2028, yes or no?
100%.
100%.
First unanimous.
Greatest player of all time.
All right, go ahead, ask me a question.
All right, Spose. So you obviously watched last night. What was the best outfit you saw? I want to hear your thought. Best outfit you saw.
It ain't Kelly Clarkson. Her dress, while creative, was no offense, stupid. On top of that, Cowboys. If it wasn't probably Jay Jettis or Jamar Chase.
That's what I was gonna say. I really like Jettis.
I did like Kittle's outfit as well. His setup as well. He was very nice.
Kittle kept it classic. Yeah.
His singing was my favorite. It was the worst, but it was funny. But no, I think overall Kelly did a great job. Not only she didn't always have to be the funniest, she connected well with the players, got a laugh out of the audience. The people they had up on stage are awesome. So, congratulations to the NFL Honors, all the award winners, all the people that went out.
Hey, before we go, I just have to make another comment.
Right,
how does Micah Parsons not get any first votes for defensive player?
Wait, he didn't get any first votes.
He did not get any first place votes.
That's crazy.
For defensive player of the year.
I thought that was gonna be one of the hardest ones between him and Bosa.
I was probably put him second. He was second then.
I remember I saw somebody.
If Chris Jones finished before Parsons, then I'm afraid this is severely.
In my opinion, I feel like Chris Jones had a great season, but in my opinion, like when I was ranking the award for my radio shift, I said it really only came down to Nick Bosa and Micah Parsons.
100%.
Okay, so MVP voting, Mahomes received 48 of the 50 votes for MVP. Hurts had one, and Josh Allen had one as well.
Hurts only getting one kind of surprised me.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised about that as well. We'll talk more about those too. Comeback player of the year, not close, but kind of close. Geno had 28, CMC had 12, and then the list is kind of down from there. Coach of the year was close. Dable had 16, Shanahan had 12.
Shit, really?
So he's right there on his tail.
What are we? Wild words of Benny. What are we doing?
I found the breakdown for offensive first player of the year.
All right, hit me.
All right, so voting goes. You get 5 points for first place vote, 3 points for second place vote, and 1 point for third place. Garrett had 18 first place, 19 second place, and 9 third place. Kenneth Walker had 19 first place, so he's got a 5-point advantage there. But he only had 8 second place votes.
And third.
And then third he had 10. So yeah. He lost a lot of points there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Olave or Purdy picked up a lot of those second place ones.
I believe that.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce, 46 of the votes. Hutchinson, 3, Tariq Woolen, 1.
Yeah.
Hutchinson only getting 3 might surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
First place votes for Defensive Player of the Year.
This is where it belongs.
Nick Bosa, 46.
That's almost as much as Mahomes. That's crazy.
Hassan Reddick, 2. Hold on, wait. Quinnen Williams got 1.
All right, no, Quinnen Williams, getting 1, I get. Hassan Reddick?
Hassan Reddick balled out,
yeah,
bro.
he had a good regular season.
And then Chris Jones had 1 as well.
But Parsons was better.
Yeah, somebody has a side-by-side of Bosa.
I'm going to faint as soon as we go to commercial.
I would say Micah Parsons, out of those players, I would say he might... I don't know if I'd say over Bosa. I don't know if I'd say over Bosa, but I'd say out of those players, Micah Parsons might have the biggest impact on his team.
I don't know if whoever, once you edit this video, is going to be able to see this. Maybe you can just throw the graphic in there.
I'll find out.
Nick Bosa's stats, he was better in sacks, QB hits, tackles for loss. Obviously the biggest 3. But Parsons clears him in every other.
Parsons is winning it next year. It's revenge tour, no question about it for me.
A lot of people might like that going into next year.
I like Micah Parsons, and you know what else I like? Taking a break. We are going to take a quick breather real quick, but when we come back on the other side of this, final Super Bowl predictions.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
I love that. Done. It's
done. It's 3 and done. That's fine. Nonetheless,
all
right, we'll be back on the other side of this break. You're listening to the Sports with Sparky here on 99.5 WCYJ FM, The Hive. but
Super Bowl Sunday,
football,
baby.
Super Bowl Sunday, baby.
It's a holiday.
All year all day.
I got too excited.
All day tailgating. Met up with exciting matchups. This year, for some odd reason, if you're out of the loop with any of the storylines or the teams they're playing, is the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in Arizona again, State Farm. They made quick mention of Pat Tillman in the statue yesterday, just in case you were curious. I forgot.
Not
That's my...
kidding. I love Pat Tillman.
I love Pat.
a true hero.
He is, though, seriously.
I wrote a paper about him last year.
Really?
Yeah. For my public speaking class, we had to give speeches, a commemorative speech.
I'm giving it to Pat Tillman.
I did mine on Pat Tillman.
No, that's 100% understood. No, so there are multiple storylines to go along with it between Jalen and Pat Mahomes. The Kelsey brothers are facing each other.
Big Red.
Get him a burger.
Get him a burger. The burger. We made what Gatorade color was going to be dumped on Andy Reid. I said hamburgers were actually going to be dumped on Andy Reid. I said that's a boldish.
What color do you got though? What color?
Red.
Red.
Too bad the Chiefs ain't winning.
Give
me the lemon lime when they use
All right,
lemon lime's the most.
Hey,
whoa.
We're going early. All right, hold on. First, there is a war to be settled here.
Hashtag fly Eagles fly.
Hashtag Logan Lepiscopo on Monday embarrassed me. Stood me up a little bit, so I came prepared. 1 second. Gentlemen, go ahead, Logan, start talking.
Well, I think it's pretty plain, simple, obvious. The Birds are winning this game. Now, here's why. You take Travis Kelce, Benicia, hear me out here. Who else is Mahomes throwing the ball to other than Kelce? Be realistic here.
That is scary. Would scare me if I'm the Eagles. Nobody.
Okay, so my theory is right. You take C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We know he can get other people's skin, right? He'll get under Kelsey's skin, and then you get another linebacker to come in, whoever it may be, Kazir White. You won't take Hassan Reddick out of pass rush, but you double team Kelsey, that takes away all your options right there. You got big play Slay on Juju, and Juju stinks. Poo Smith-Schuster.
Who is healthy, by the way?
What are we? Are we three here?
Yes.
Are we three here? Who's healthier?
No, who's healthy? Juju's healthy.
Juju will be ready. McCall Hardman will be out.
And then
the only thing you miss from Hardman
Tony's in.
The only thing jeez Louise. The only thing I miss from Hardman.
He's not good.
The only thing I miss from I think Hardman's kind of overrated. He has good speed, but that's pretty much it.
The problem with these guys is none of them are consistent, and
MVS had 6 yards against the Jags, and then goes for 120 something on the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I came prepared.
Terrible
today.
take.
I came prepared today.
Let's hear it.
So I did some research yesterday before the newscast. I was upstairs for 2 hours on the computer, grinding out some stats, listening to some music, jamming out. Nonetheless,
what were you listening to?
One of the songs that came on was
What's your song of the day?
Song of the day. Well, yesterday's was Mr. Brightside.
Okay.
I was listening to Mr. Brightside. I was really jamming out to that. It was funny. Will came in, and he was a little awkward, but we had a good laugh. Song of the day. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't really listened to a lot of music today, so I can't really think of anything on the fly. But yeah, Mr. Brightside was the song of the day yesterday. I was singing while we were doing the weather tease.
So that song inspired these numbers you're about to
inspires these in numbers. So
Mr. Brightside is a great song.
It is a great song. I mean, and I feel
better be a good take.
Yeah,
so all right, so let me read off some Philadelphia Eagles, of which I forgot. I put Philadelphia Eagles. I forgot the A. But let me read it to you. So since 2016, this playoff records for both teams. For the Eagles, they're 6-3. One of which those wins includes a Super Bowl in 2017.
The Lombardi.
2016 for the Chiefs, they're 10-5.
They've also went more times though.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
They've been here 3 in the past 4.
2016, the Eagles didn't go to the playoffs, so this technically counts from 2017 on. But the Patriots have been involved more too. Hint, hint. Patrick Mahomes. So the only time Patrick Mahomes wasn't involved was 2016. 2017 is when he got involved. Because 2016 was the last year of Alex Smith when they played the Steelers and lost.
Yeah.
When the Steelers only kicked field goals on them. What happened? Anyway.
Did you guys win the Super Bowl?
No.
All right.
Did you?
No, it doesn't
How the
matter.
Raiders win? No,
it doesn't matter.
All right, so Eagles
on the couch.
Eagles, the 3 teams that beat the Eagles in the playoffs in 2018, they lost to the Saints in the divisional round. They lost to the Seahawks in the wild card in 2019, and then in 2021 they lost to the future Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Makes sense. All the games Kansas City lost.
I'm
Let's read the closeness of these games.
Okay.
Emphasis on close.
Uh-huh.
Kansas City. They lost to the divisional round in 2016 to the Steelers. Lost all field goals. Lost to the Titans in the wild card in 2017 in Tennessee.
To Marcus Mario, though.
They lost in overtime to the Patriots in Arrowhead. We all remember that game, the conference championship. Tom Brady's one of his last years
with the shiesty on.
With the shiesty.
Before it was
2020, the Chiefs lost in the Super Bowl to the Bucks. That was just a pitiful performance. I think that was the worst loss of Patrick Mahomes' career, to be honest.
The Super Bowl to the 49ers?
No,
sorry.
The Super Bowl to Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa, yeah.
And then in 2021, losing to the Bengals in the conference championship in overtime. 2 of those 5 losses I named were in overtime. The Patriots conference championship and
Against
the
the
Bengals conference championship were in overtime.
So what? I'm confused. Why are you reading me these numbers?
Because I'm just playoff success recently for Patrick Mahomes has been better.
I mean, obviously.
In company, which is why I get into the point of.
But you also have to think about the Eagles team is completely different from the past 3 years. New
They
head
have,
coach, new quarterback,
but that
new
shows
defense,
the old
new
system
wide
is working for
receivers.
Patrick Mahomes, which is why he's going to win.
No, she just has. You can give the edge to coach and quarterback and tight end all you want. It's gonna come out who's the better all-around team talent-wise, and that is 1,000% the Philadelphia Eagles.
So Mahomes, to me, Mahomes' stat numbers. He's 1985. He's thrown almost 2,000 passes. He's completed almost 2,000 passes with almost 3,000 career attempts, which is 66% completion percentage. He's
pretty good.
24,241 yards in just about 5 or 6 seasons.
It's all right.
It's all right.
He's all right.
It's all right.
I'm a Raiders fan.
Then he has 142 touchdown passes to only 49 interceptions. What'd you say?
Patty Mahomes is LeBron and Tom Brady's Michael Jordan.
Hunt it. That's fair. That's a legit take.
But I've already given you the edge that Mahomes is the better QB in the game.
But this is why Mahomes is going to win the game for them.
Okay,
I made it clear
so-
from day one. Patrick
so-
Mahomes is the reason the Chiefs win the dang Super Bowl.
But hear me out.
If you got Mahomes, you got a chance.
In that Bucks game, when he was diving, throwing passes, doing 360s, no scope, throwing the ball down the field, wasn't he putting it all on the line there?
He was, but it was a better
so-
team. It was a better team than what he has now. Well, the team he was playing was better than the Eagles are now.
I disagree.
Ooh.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That Buccaneers team over.
Yes.
Defense.
Well, they beat the Eagles. Well, granted, they didn't have
I disagree.
AJ Brown.
I think Mahomes lost that Super Bowl to the Bucks because his wide receivers and running backs and nobody could catch the football.
Yeah, well, Tyreek Hill.
Think about the throws he was
He had better weapons though, and more consistent weapons.
Compared to the Bucks Super Bowl, the Chiefs have upgraded O-line. They've decreased in wide receiver, and their defense is still probably about the same.
I think we're throwing too much shade at Juju and Valdez because
they've done nothing.
They make more impact plays than they do stat-wise. I told you this day one.
It doesn't matter if you make one impact play in the entire game.
If it helps you,
if it puts a great block.
Here's the thing, though.
I'll say that.
Here's the thing, though.
Kadarius Toney's going to do one cutback move and tear his ACL probably and be out.
And
they're left with Sky Moore, who's probably the most irrelevant draft pick they've had.
I'm serious. No, think about it though, because the Chiefs got outplayed for 3.5 quarters against San Francisco. They won. I'm not saying Philadelphia is not going to test them to the limits. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I don't think Philadelphia deserves it. I'm not saying Philadelphia doesn't have a chance of winning. I want Philly to win. I do because I really like this Philly team. But I can't go against Patrick Mahomes.
So you're telling me Patrick Mahomes' talent alone outweighs an entire 22 starters of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think I think the Andy Reid mind, Patrick Mahomes' talent, Travis Kelce's talent, and his offensive line.
You're telling me 3 people are being a 22-man roster and a new young head coach that's proven that he can win the big games.
I do believe that, yes. I do believe
that. Just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so the Chiefs win. What are you going to tell me? Oh my God, I was wrong.
I'm not going to tell you anything because regardless, the game's going to be good.
It's going to be excellent.
It's going to be a one-possession game. Whoever wins is going to win on a game-winning drive.
100%, and it's going to be the Chiefs because who does it better than Patrick Mahomes?
You provided nothing other than Mahomes is a good quarterback.
I know because I don't need to do
it. The whole world knows he's a good quarterback. Everybody knows Andy Reid's a great coach and Kelsey's the best tight end in football.
It's hard.
Tell me something else.
It's hard to because that's all I got because that's all they have, and they've been so successful.
Who's guarding Devontae Smith?
Who's guarding Devontae?
Benny, you can chip in also. Who's guarding Devontae?
Yeah, facts. I want to hear what Benny.
Who's guarding Devontae Smith?
One of their 7th round picks.
Who's guard AJ Brown? Mind you, has been very quiet this postseason. But who's gonna guard him? Sure.
Hold on, let me actually give an answer to that.
Trent McDuffie? No. Juwan Thornhill? No. I mean, come on. Let's use our heads here. Look at this. Look at the rosters top to bottom. You cannot tell me that Mahomes and Kelsey outweighs the entire
Well, I do think
Eagles
also
team.
we can't. I mean, again, these are not insanely talented guys, but guys who, to me, impact players who can be.
Oh, I mean, you're in the NFL. You're talented. Simple.
Justin Watson and Noah Gray. Don't count them out. They're also tight ends on this Kansas City team.
They're gonna guard.
No, not
AJ
guarding.
Brown.
They're not guarding. I was trying to say impact. It's hard because I'm not saying there's no question you got an advantage in this conversation with me, but to me, I can't rule them out.
So you were the guy that no matter what the situation was, Tom Brady's winning.
No,
So what's the difference then? If you're
because I think Patrick Mahomes right now is better than.
Well, yeah,
if you're
like
saying-
towards the end of Tom Brady's career, you could write him out. I feel like, but right now, where Patty Mahomes is out, it's hard to rule him out.
You're telling me the greatest quarterback, maybe even the greatest player to ever play the game, you say, nah, I'm not betting on him anytime he's on the field playing a big game. But Patrick Mahomes, you can.
So here are the cornerbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs:
Please tell me.
DiCaprio Boodle,
Who?
Trent McDuffie,
You hear this?
L'Jarius Sneed, who is he's probably
He's
him
healthy.
and Jalen
He's
Watson
healthy,
are
by the way, too.
him and Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, and L'Jarius Sneed have all heard of. Trent McDuffie I just heard of. I do not know who this DiCaprio Boodle is.
Where's he
Sneed's
listed?
decent.
Where's
Let's
he
not
listed?
act like
Where-
Sneed's terrible.
He's quarterback. He's 25. He's 5'10".
Sneed's
He's a
not
rookie.
terrible.
He's a rookie.
So what? Snead should be their one. Who would be their two?
I think Jalen Watson is their two.
Sneed's chances are is watching.
McDuffie. I think McDuffie would be 3.
Who are their safeties?
Safeties: Ugo Amadi, Zane Anderson,
Who?
Dion Bush,
Okay.
Brian Cook. I heard Brian Cook,
Brian Cook. from
Nazee
Cincy.
Johnson, Justin Reed, and Juan Thornhill.
Okay, so
Thornhill
Thornhill,
and
Reed.
Thornhill and Reed are their starters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
those are their top 2 guys.
My question is, what safety are you going to have shadow what receiver?
I think you got to. I think you got to
Are you-
focus.
are you shadowing Devontae or
Sneed,
AJ?
I think you put Sneed on AJ because I don't think Sneed is great, but I feel like he's a decent cornerback.
I think if you're Kansas City, you got to prepare for the run first.
That's
This
what
team
they've been
has
doing in the
shown-
offseason.
So in
yeah.
the
Postseason,
postseason,
yeah.
the Eagles have with Miles Sanders alone 28 attempts, 132 yards, which is 4.7 yards a gain and 2 touchdowns. The rest of the Eagles' rushing attack: 60 attempts, 258 yards, 4.7 yards a gain, and no touchdowns.
Boy, Boston Scott.
I think that's with Scott, Hurts, and Gainwell, who again, talented backroom. For the Chiefs, they've definitely proven more of a pass. I think that Chiefs are more where you got to focus on.
Mahomes
the
is going to throw the ball like 50 times.
Mahomes.
If they want to.
Mahomes. So
At
when it
least.
comes to
I think
Pacheco in 2 games is 121 yards, no touchdowns, and the rest of the team is 56
Is that
yards
121 rushing or scrimmage?
rushing.
Okay.
And then passing wise though in the playoffs, for some reason I didn't write down the postseason, but Kansas City this year had let's see 8 players with 200 plus yards, 4 players with 500 plus, 3 players with 600 plus, and 2 players with 900 plus.
You said this was regular season?
Yes.
That doesn't matter in the postseason, Sparky.
It leads them to
when
where
the
they are
postseason
now, though.
When the
It
postseason
does.
begins, everybody is 0-0.
Zero.
Win or go home.
Well, how do they get to where they are from the regular season? The Chiefs aren't magically a 1 seed. Eagles aren't magically just a 1 seed picked out of thin air.
So how come?
It's where you got to build a
AJ Brown's
foundation.
not just like a nobody now.
So AJ,
Yeah.
so AJ Brown.
Well, and
did
AJ
all
Brown's
this-
not. Hold on.
Yeah.
Listen what he said.
Yeah.
AJ Brown's just not like a nobody now.
That's what
They're still
I'm saying. You're
preparing
saying
for
the
it.
regular season got in there, so you're saying the regular season performance should translate to postseason. So why has AJ Brown not been cooking defenses like he was in the regular season?
Because game plans have changed.
They're prepared
Because
for it.
we got to prepare differently sometimes. But he's also set himself up for success so much as a talented player that teams are now somewhat being able to counter that.
he's had 28 and 22 yards in his 2 games. he's played.
Congratulations.
And he's played against who? Who's even?
The Giants.
Uh-huh.
They played the Giants and the Vikings.
Okay.
So you're saying-
two teams that have terrible secondary.
Then why isn't he cooking them and continuing?
Because
to
the
do
Eagles
it?
don't need to pass the football.
They need to run it. So why are you got to be worried about who's covering Devontae and then when you should be focusing on the run?
Because when Jalen Hurts takes that shot downfield, 9 out of 10 times, I'm taking A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to come down with the
You
ball
also got to
compared those
remember, this
corners.
is a different atmosphere than what we've seen these two teams play. They are playing in Arizona,
That is
a close stadium.
Fun fact, whoever wins this has more wins in Arizona than
The Arizona Cardinals. That is
Yeah.
crazy. And I feel like an important thing to remember, people, is when you're having debates, make sure, like, we're still good people. So, like,
we'll be friends after
we'll be
this.
friends after
but
this.
when the Boost Review comes back on Monday afternoon
Whoa.
at 4 o'clock and the Eagles are Super Bowl champs,
Imagine if
I don't
that's
want
not
to hear
true.
nothing.
The Chiefs are in white.
Okay?
They're wearing white
If
uniforms.
the Chiefs win the coin toss,
Exactly. They're wearing
Hey,
white. All they gotta do is
Mahomes-
win the coin toss.
Mahomes-
Give me the Chiefs.
Mahomes got the MVP curse. MVP hasn't won since Kurt.
So
in
if anyone's breaking it, though,
1999.
if anyone's breaking it, let's be real, it's gonna be Patty Mahomes.
Then how come he didn't beat it against the Bucks?
Because they're a better team than Eagles.
And the Eagles are a better team than the Chiefs. Simple.
I can't deal with you.
You look at the talent top to bottom. You cannot tell me that the Eagles are not a better team top to bottom.
I'm not saying. I think defensively they are.
You don't think offensively they are?
I think offensively they're equally matched.
That's no, absolutely not.
I understand it's a not popular
Okay,
take,
how?
but it's the truth.
Okay, we
Hashtag
got the
truth.
cameras rolling. I want you to show in the hierarchy where's Mahomes talent wise and where's Hurts talent wise.
Career or this season?
This season.
This season.
From what we've seen between the two,
All right.
how far is the separation in talent from this year?
This season, I say.
And for the people listening, make sure you explain it where you're putting them. as well.
I'll be as descriptive as possible. So, Mahomes.
Mhm.
I'm so.
So you're putting Mahomes obviously above Hurts.
No question.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
that's like asking
So
what
how-
comes first,
How
breakfast or
far
lunch.
is the gap? Can I fit a ruler in between the gap? Can,
You
I, fit,
could-
can I fit a meter stick?
This
like, what are we
season, this season,
A pencil.
it's Mahomes here,
talking?
Hurts here.
So then,
You could probably fit half a pencil between my two hands.
so then, I'm confused how they're equally matched when the quarterbacks are separated by
Because
half
of
a
the
pencil.
offense. Because the other offensive talent that they
Well,
bring.
Where?
All the
The
receivers
only
are
other
better on
offensive
Philly.
talent the Chiefs have is Kelsey.
I think you're unfairly talking about Pacheco and the versatility of Jerick McKinnon.
McKinnon's done jack
You want
squat
to
all
see his
postseason.
fantasy points? You want to see his fantasy points?
You know what? Fantasy points don't matter in the postseason.
I don't give a crap, but you want to see he
McKinnon
is a good
yeah,
player
yeah,
and you're not
McKinnon
counting
is
it
a
fairly.
good player.
He's been targeted like
You know what's bad when
Twice
even
all
Benicio's
postseason.
agreeing with me.
McKinnon's a dog.
he's good, but he's not been used in the offense. Maybe that's the Chiefs' game plan.
Neither is AJ Brown, but here you are preaching for him.
Here's my thing. The reason I'm preaching for him is the fact that Eagles are run heavy. Correct. We
Yes.
all
Yeah.
agree that
Yeah.
Eagles are run
The
heavy.
Eagles are running.
Yeah.
So when the Eagles get behind, they're not going to be looking to run the ball, right? So say Chiefs are up like 14-7. Eagles got the ball about to go into halftime. They want to try and knot things up. They're not going to run the ball downfield with Gamo and Sanders. They're going to look to take the long shots with
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. And we know they can do that. They just have not had to do it because first, the Eagles have played terrible competition in the postseason. I'll give you that. They have not faced the greatest team.
I think Chiefs could also win close
They
games. though.
they faced a Giants
Yeah.
team that everybody thought was going to somehow beat them. Didn't happen. They faced a 49ers team that was dismantled at the quarterback position. It's an easy win there. So, sure, this is the Eagles' first real competition of the postseason, but it's a task that they are up for.
I think it's Chiefs have not only I'll mention quarterback, coach, and tight end experience. Eagles are 0-3 against Andy Reid. Andy Reid is besides Bill Belichick, in my opinion, the second best coach in the recent era.
Yeah.
So there
I don't
runs
think
with
there's
that
argument about that.
experience about that. So I think that it goes a little deeper, especially with different players and stuff. But I'm not going to
So-
take away from your points aren't valid. They are incredibly valid.
So where's the argument about experience when it came to the Rams beating the Bengals? Two very inexperienced teams. So what's the...
There's no.
I mean,
argument.
obviously they're both inexperienced, so it's different
Yeah.
than this Super Bowl. And then you look
I think Patrick Mahomes, he's on his third Super Bowl. His worst career performances in his career have been in the Super Bowl, especially Tampa Bay.
So why are you betting on him if his worst performances
Because
have been in
he's
the Super
proven
Bowl?
every time when you turn your head to doubt him, he's winning. Think about it. He goes without Tyreek. Was he going to make the playoffs? He's in the Super Bowl. And that's the same with me. Every time someone turns their doubt, which, believe me, I don't know why we doubt Patrick Mahomes at times.
Oh, I'm not down. I truthfully believe, and we said off air before we started the segment, this game could clearly go either way.
I could see it fully going. I mean, the score I have with it, but nonetheless, we do only have 1 minute left. Real quick, scores for the game.
Well, I'll let you
Give
go
me
ahead.
31-24 Chiefs. Give me, I hate to be cliche, but give me Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl MVP.
I'm gonna ride with what I picked on Monday. You know, you gotta trust the Gus. D Wheels is in the studio right now.
100%.
Fly, Eagles fly. Eagles 31, Chiefs 30. I am gonna switch my MVP up though. Still gonna be a surprise though. Miles Sanders.
Miles
Super
Sanders.
Bowl MVP. Over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
I'm going strictly because of what I've said. I gotta defend it at this point. I think it's Chiefs 34-31. Last minute touchdown drive or field goal scores. I see Mahomes being MVP. However, Travis Kelce is also a legit backup MVP. Nonetheless, that is going to do it here with Sports with Sparky. Again, we have been. Thank you, Benicio and Logan, for coming on, giving some good quality entertainment. Benicio, you can find him and Dini at 7 in the morning here on the Morning Buzz. Logan Lepiscopo has his radio shift Mondays at 4 o'clock p.m. The Booth Review, excellent content on both ends. Love these guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next Friday after the Super Bowl with our reactions.
Go Birds!
Have a good one.
When I first heard this, I thought it said fuck this.